Hey, what's up guys? How you doing? I thought I'd do a quick video, as quick as I can, about the do's and don'ts on buying knives on YouTube. Now, if you're watching this video, you've probably bought something or sold something on YouTube. Lately there's been a lot of knife sales, and a lot of people have been buying some really good priced knives. So I thought I'd go over some stuff that you can use to help you out when buying a knife, and make it as safe as possible for you, so that you don't get burned. The first thing you have to look for when you're looking for a knife sale is actually the knife sale. Now, where did you find a knife sale? Did you find it on while you were just scanning through YouTube and other subscriptions, or you were looking at your specific subscription, someone that you've been subscribed to a while? Have you been subscribed to this guy for a long while? A year? 6 months? How long has he been making vids? Did he just pop up on YouTube today and started making a knife sale? Or has he been on YouTube for a while? Well, I'm talking to you, I'm going to put some knives on here. Anyway, the other thing you want to look at is, does he get a lot of trolls and thumbs down on his videos? Is he hot-tempered, sporadic? Is it a channel that you enjoy watching and someone who takes care of their knives? That's real important, guys. When you're looking to buy a knife, you want to make sure that the person that had it didn't abuse it. A good thing to do also is to go back a few videos, maybe 6 months ago, when he first got that Yojimbo, and was he sharpening it by hand on this cheap stone, and now he's trying to sell it like a new knife, you know? Sometimes people forget what they put up 6 months ago. So sometimes it's good to go back in on a knife sales channel and look at the old videos when he first received that knife, when he EDC'd that knife. Is he trying to send it? Is he trying to sell it as like new in box, but he's been carrying it around for the last 6 months? So that's one of the things you have to think about. The other thing is the condition of the knife. Now, this is my favorite, and this is one of my pet peeves. Sometimes people show it on camera, and I'm sure they're not being deceptive, and I'm guilty of it myself. And let's say, I have three knives here that I had in my closest to me right now. By no means are these bad knives, or by no means did I get bad sales. I actually love these knives. Okay, for instance, I'm selling this knife, right? But when I put it on camera, I don't bring it any closer than this. Now from here, the knife looks like it has no scratches, like everything's great on it, right? But I'm not saying this knife is bad, but as you bring it closer to the camera, you notice that, the lockup might be a little late. There's a lot of little tricks that you can do on camera, guys, to make the lockup look awesome. Like, shoot it from this angle. It doesn't look as bad as when you see it like this, the lockup looks pretty late. When you look at it like this, the lockup doesn't seem that bad. Do I have bad lockup and I'm not going to show it? For instance, you bring the knife out. Look how great my knife is. Look how nice and thick the blade is. Look at the condition of my clip. There's like no wear on it. See, there's no wear on it. It's like perfect. And they keep avoiding the lockup. They do one of these, showing you every part of the knife except for where it has the problem. You know what I mean? Good thing you can pause it on YouTube and kind of get a good idea. Okay, you also have to wonder about dark grainy videos. One thing is holding the knife down here. The other thing is shooting it in a very dark environment. Things aren't going to show as well. Is he using HD? Believe me, that will pick up some of the scratches, especially on the blade. And if you're shooting it during the nighttime with limited lighting, every knife's going to look the same. Okay? Alright, the next thing, another one of my pet peeves is people will say it's like new in box. But 6 months ago you saw them flicking it like a maniac. You know? Now, normally this won't cause a lot of damage to a knife, just flicking it, unless you have a titanium lock. And as we all know, titanium will wear over time if you flick it. And I think Chris Reef has said that his knives aren't like worry beads, where you can just sit there and flick them. Eventually something's going to give. So even though a knife has, you have the box for it, and the knife looks kind of new, and you can throw it back in the box and make it look like new, it's not new in box. You've taken the knife, you've carried the knife has, you know, scratches on the clip, it has scratches on the handles, so it's not new in box anymore. So you won't be able to ask brand new price for that knife. Okay, moving on. The other thing that I see a lot of is lowballing a seller. Now, I understand sometimes a guy selling a knife for $100, right? And you only have $90. I mean, really, you only have $90 to spend on a knife. That's all you decided you want to spend. There's no problem with sending the seller a personal message and saying, hey, I only have $90. Can we work something out? Normally, I mean, most people, for example, myself, I won't overprice the knives. I'm pricing them at a certain price level because I want to get rid of them. I want to sell them. I don't want people emailing me with 100 personal messages asking if they can lower it $5. This is the price that I think is fair, and I'll mention that in the beginning. Hey, I think this price is pretty fair. Now, I'm not saying that in the past people have sent me a message and said, hey, I know you want 150, but I only have 140. Would you be willing to take it? Sometimes I'll take it. Other times I'll say, let me see if there's any other interest in the knife. If no one has bought it up by this afternoon, then it's yours. Okay? Sometimes you see these videos where guys come out and they've had an accident, or their child has been in an accident, or their car broke down, and they're selling their collection not because they want to get another knife, but because they want to get their car out impound, or they want to get some tires on their car brakes. Now, they're telling you this, and most of the time, if you've subscribed to the channel and you know the guy, you know he's legit. So you probably don't want to email him and try to send him $50 for that $150 knife. That's kind of lowballing, and it kind of sucks to do that, guys, to be honest. We shouldn't be preying on our own knife community. You get good deals out there, and when people are desperate for money, they'll price those knives accordingly. They don't need your help lowering the price. The other thing is selling a knife at a factory price or a markup. Now, if you have a Spyderco Endura, first generation, you know, from 15, 20 years ago, and you're asking, let's say, $200 for it, chances are you're not going to get that, because that knife doesn't command that price. Even though it's rare and they don't make it anymore, you're not going to get a whole lot of people wanting to pay that price for a Zytel handled knife from 20 years ago, when all the new knives have been upgraded with steel and locking interface. So anyway, things to take into consideration. I mean, I have seen Chris Reeve knives sell for almost the same price, and you have your customs, which are an exception. You know, you have all your special Emersons, you know, well, you guys know what I'm talking about. All the rare knives that you can't get, one of a kinds, by hot makers that are selling really good right now. Okay, so having covered that, the next thing you want to worry about is how are you going to pay for this knife. Does the seller want PayPal? Does he want money order? Does he want cash? Now, there's downsides and upsides to all of these. With PayPal, you have the PayPal gift option, which the seller doesn't get charged for a business transaction, but it's a little riskier for you, because basically you're gifting this money to the person you're selling a knife. So when you go back later on and say, hey, I got cheated, PayPal's going to look at that and say, well, it was a gift from you. The other thing is the business transaction side, like you're buying something, and you get a little more protection on that, but you have to know that the seller is also getting less money for the knife. For the money orders, normally when I have a sale, I will open the sale for money orders. The problem with that is you have some waiting time. You have to wait for that money order to come to the mail. Once you receive it, you're either going to want to validate that it is a real money order, and then you're going to ship off your knife. So normally you're looking at maybe a week turnaround time. Be wary of cash transactions, either in the mail or emailing it or wiring it to someone's account, or meeting someone in person. A while ago I was buying a knife, and it was a pricey knife, and I offered to meet the young man who lived near my area, and He didn't sound real keen on the idea. Now, believe me, I get it. You're basically dealing with a stranger online, right? On YouTube. And they're asking to meet them with your expensive knife or your pocket full of cash. Meet them at a location somewhere. How do you know you're not going to get jacked for that money? How do you know that he's not going to show up with more than one person and kind of ask for that knife, not so nicely? So anyway, those are things you have to consider. Once you develop relationships with people, personal messaging, believe me, there's a lot of guys that really nice guys out there, very legit guys, and that's when you have to see, do they have 3 videos out there and I'm about to meet them at midnight at the mall parking lot? Or have I been subscribed to this guy for 6 years, I've had past transactions with him, and he's a pretty stand-up guy. I mean, believe me, it doesn't take a lot to figure out someone's a douchebag. Alright, customer service. When I ship a knife, I'm going to make sure that this knife, first of all, I'm going to put it in its original packaging, right? Second of all, I'm going to include everything that came with this knife. I'm not going to pull out the stickers. I'm not going to pull out the little baggie that it came in and keep it for myself. I'm going to send you everything that I got with the knife. That's just the way I do it. Next, I'm going to pack this knife like I'm packing something that I want to receive. I want to make sure that, you know, it's not going to move around, that it's not going to open up. I'm not going to trust the post office box and the little sticker on here to secure this box. I'm going to put extra tape on there. And when you receive a box from someone and you see those little extra touches, you're going to know that this guy took that time to make sure that I got a knife that wasn't damaged or missing completely. There's no worse thing than having paid for a knife and now you have to deal with the USPS. Believe me, guys, I've dealt with the United States Post Office. You don't want to be in the circumstances. The people there are doing the best they can with limited resources. The last thing you want to do is be arguing with them about the knife you just got stolen. The other thing I like to do is follow up on shipping. If I send a knife out, I'll immediately contact my buyer, let him know the knife got shipped out this morning, its estimated time of arrival, the tracking number, and I'm not going to wait for him to call me and say, hey, I got the knife. I'm going to track that package myself. And when that package arrives, I'm going to call that the buyer, and make sure they receive that knife if they don't call me first. And then I'm going to ask them, how did you like that knife? I always send extra stuff in my packaging to kind of sweeten the deal. And this is stuff that I have laying around. It's not expensive stuff. It could be a paracord bracelet, but believe me, people appreciate that. And when you have another sale, they take that into consideration. Hey, this guy treated me right last time. My package got here in a timely manner. He didn't delay once he received my money. I think I'm going to do business with him the next time. Now, sometimes I'll ask people to make comments in my sale video on the bottom and say, hey, I just got the knife, great service, great knife, just what you said, just what you promised. And I'm very worried about that, about sending a knife out and building it up and then not getting what I built up. You know, I want to make sure that when they receive the knife, they're saying, this is exactly what that guy said I was going to get, and they're happy about it. So anyway, guys, those are some quick tips. I mean, these are my personal experiences and my personal feelings on this subject. I know not everyone will agree with everything I've said, but I think I do have some experience to draw on because I have purchased a lot of knives online. And like I've said, I've never had a bad experience. Everyone I've dealt with has been awesome. But like I've said in the video, I only deal with people that are stand-up guys, that have channels that I'm subscribed to, and that have been around for a while, and they have a track record. So anyway, something to think about. Alright guys, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to post them on the bottom. If you disagree with anything I've said, hey, feel free. If you want to share your experience and things that you look out for, hey, throw it on the bottom. Okay? Other than that, guys, have a good day.